Okay, to build your trust, the first thing you need to do is go to your email and click on an email from Vanilla. I've sent you a link to start your trust. So hit get started. Read everything. We're not going to read everything as we go through. You'll have time to do that on your own. So then you get an email, again, another one with your 3-digit or 6-digit code. And you'll need to enter a 12-digit password. I've read and agreed. You might want to read that. And we don't need multi-factor authentication. You do want to share this with your advisor because I will be looking at it, printing it, stickering it, and mailing it to you. And we're going to start with the collaborative onboard. And read everything, like I said, but right now we're going to begin questionnaire. First thing you do is enter you and your family, legally married, do have children. And you're just going to go through and enter in your information. Colorado. Every page has a little blue something at the bottom, and if you don't understand what it's asking, you can click on that. So it's enter my wife. And then we're going to add my children. I'm going to ask who her parents are. As my next kid. My 2 children. Continue. You can add uncles, cousins, brothers, parents. You don't have to. I choose not to, but this is where you would do that. And there's my family tree. Now we're going to enter in our current estate documents. I don't have any. And that's it. Tax planning. You're allowed to give up almost $14 million per person over your lifetime. There is an amount that you can give per year. If you go over that, you have to fill out some IRS forms. I have not given that much money away. So again, what is this exemption? Click on that if you don't understand the question, or contact me, and you have my contact information. That's it for tax planning. You see how it's super easy with this. This is probably the hardest part of all of it. So we're going to do our net worth, everything that we want in the trust, and we're going to do detailed entry. Start with our bank accounts. Now, obviously, the bank accounts change sometimes daily, but you want to put everything in there. So first is our checking account. For me and my wife, it's a joint in checking. And put your balance. And the reason this goes in there is you want that payable on death designation. So we're going to make my wife and I primary. If something happens to one of us, the whole thing is released to the other. Should be anyway with that joint account, but you always want to make sure. And then we want to give our kids access to it, so it doesn't go through probate if something happens to both of them. Okay, we're gonna add our other checking account, also a joint. Savings account. And you're gonna do the same thing. Okay. So now the kids have access to our checking and savings if something happens to both of us. One more bank account. It is only my name because it's a business account. I'm gonna put payable on death on everything, so nothing goes through probate. I'm gonna give 100% of this to my wife if something happened to me, and then add the kids as contingent. All right, so that's our checking account. Now let's look at, up here it says plus new. We're gonna add our retirement and our annuity. First I have my annuity. And it is a fee. And total account balance. It's liquid if I pass away. And there's about 120,000 in there. And it has beneficiaries built in, so we're gonna put those there. Always check your current beneficiaries, make sure they're current. I have seen it where they have an old beneficiary, something happens, and unfortunately with the contract, the beneficiaries who gets the money. So whether it's your TSP, an annuity, life insurance, if you have the wrong beneficiary in there, well, you're not around anymore. The money goes to whoever you set it up for. So make sure you change that if you need to. Okay, let's do retirement annuities. This is an old 401k I rolled over, and I put it in a personal pension plan. And the wonderful thing about this is I got a really nice bonus when I wrote it, and then I'm using that bonus to send to the IRS a little bit at a time each year, so as not to change my tax bracket. And it becomes a Roth at that point, and then I never pay taxes on the distribution. My wife won't pay taxes when she inherits it, neither will my kids. So using other people's money as the company's bonus to pay the taxes, to not only defer your taxes, but eliminate them, I feel is the smartest thing I could have done with that money. All right. We have my wife's a teacher. She has an employee-sponsored account. She's not 59 and a half, so she can't move it to that personal pension plan. If you're over 59 and a half, you should be able to move that. In this case, I would be the beneficiary. And of course, the kids will be contingent. All right. Now next, we have our investment. We have one investment account. It's a taxable account. It's with Charles Schwab. So account balance. There's about 150,000 in there. Make sure you put that transfer on death. You don't want anything get held up in probate. And make sure you put your contingent beneficiaries in there. Now, before I mail this out to you, I will be checking everything. Make sure you did it properly. All right. So that's our bank accounts, our retirement and annuities, and our investments. Let's put our real estate in there. It's a joint. That's our personal. You can also put in investment properties, rental properties if you have them. I'm going to call this 7th Street. Market value is 600,000. Location is Colorado. It is not liquid. It does have a mortgage. It's with Wells Fargo. And the balance is about 280,000. Doesn't have to be accurate. It changes every month. But just to put that in there so people that your trustee and everybody that once you pass away, it'll be easier for them to pay off the mortgage or whatever they have to do. Okay, so that's that. Let's save that. Now, here's a good example. We are going to go into this and make a change because I forgot to add one thing. So we're going to go into the three dots here, click on that and edit. Down here under notes, additional options, notes. I want to put the date of issue, 2024. So I have an anniversary coming up on that call. Okay. Now let's continue. That's all of our net worth. Then add our life insurance policies. There's the term, 20 years. Insured is me. Death benefit is 500,000. Beneficiary is Camille. And the kids will be contingent. You make a mistake and you don't have enough or too much, adding up to 100%, it won't let you continue. You'll have to make that change. Now my wife has one as well. Also a term. And it's also for 500,000. Beneficiary is me. And of course the key. All right. So that's our life insurance policy. And it's going to ask us to check everything in our net worth. And continue. Family tree, state documents, tax planning, net worth, everything is right, complete. The first half is done. It's that simple. Next is the estate documents we're creating. Hit create document and scroll down. Essentials would be for a young adult over 18 who wants power of attorney, health, and medical. Will package we don't really do because we don't want anything going through probate. Basic trust package because we have less than $5 million net worth, or advanced if you have more. And you're going to begin questionnaire. Read all these, make sure it applies to you. I acknowledge. You can always pause this video so you can read stuff, but you'll have your own dashboard, your own login, so you won't have to be watching this video. How I suggest that you fill out this information is have the video and your dashboard open at the same time. And that way, as you're going through filling out the information, if you have questions, hit play on the video and watch that section and then fill out what you need. All right, so here's me. And yes, I'm still legally married. And put my spouse's email address in. Okay. And our address. Spring. Continue. I acknowledge this is where I live. children's info carries over. Check it, make sure it's right. Continue. All right, please add anybody else you would like to include. Let's say you wanted a different trustee than one of your kids. Then this is where you would add it. Add a person, add a charity, anything like that. Nope. You'll see in a few screens that my daughter will be our backup. All right. I do not own any foreign assets, and I do not have a prenup. If you do, that's where you put it in. Creating it for me and my spouse. And we want one joint revocable trust. Okay, here's all the answers. Always verify that you put it in there right. You can always hit back if you made any mistakes that you see. How am I going to distribute my estate when my wife and I pass away? We do not want to restate an existing joint revocable. We don't have one. If you have one over 5 years, it's probably everything's changed, so you just hit no there as well. If you have a brand new one and you're happy with it, then keep it. And if you're not happy with it, then you can just rewrite it. Remember I said, need help with this question? Every page. I don't have anybody to give specific cash gifts to or charities at our passing. So we want everything to go to our kids. And we choose survivor trust. If you have a blended family and you have separate assets, then choose marital trust. One house goes to one spouse's children, the other house goes to the other spouse's children. Things of that nature, like in the video we watched on Dale Earnhardt Jr., you might choose marital trust. But in this case, survivor's trust, this gives the surviving spouse full power over the trust. It is revocable. You can change it at any time. You can cancel it at any time as long as you're both alive, or one of you is alive. This one, once one of you passes away, your half becomes irrevocable, so it cannot be changed. Any questions? Click on this button, or call or text or email me, and I'll be certain to help you understand everything. We want our children to inherit all of our assets. Now you have the choice of outright or in a trust. Let's just look at in a trust real quick. Okay, you can put it in a trust, irrevocable trust for all the benefit of all beneficiaries. Read everything. You can put separate trust if you have kids that one could get it right away, the other one maybe not as good with money. Some of you have seen that. Then you make sure you don't unload a bunch of money to that child as soon as you pass, because they wouldn't be wise with it. Or you don't have to put the same amount to each child. You could put 60% to one, 40 to the other, because one person has a good job, the other one's going to need more money. You have all these choices. Need help with this question, or call me or text me, email me, and I can help you understand it. In our case, we go back. Both of our kids are pretty responsible, and we're just going to give it to them outright. And we're going to give it to them equally. Now, going back to the net worth, if you pass away and you have a big old 401k or a TSP or an annuity that's an IRA, you don't necessarily want to give your child $1 million, right? Let's say it's that much right away, because then they're going to have to pay the very highest tax rate. They can split it up over 10 years. What is better is to convert that to a Roth, and then they get all that money income tax free. So that if it was equally, if it was outright, and they were good with money, and they could split $1 million 401k, but it was now a Roth, wouldn't that be better for your children to not have to pay taxes on $500,000 each? Here you can put specific percentages for each beneficiary. or equally. Jonathan and Camille, in an extremely unlikely event that you outlive all your beneficiaries, we're going to put our closest living heirs. You could give it to charities. More than likely, our daughters don't have kids yet, but they will. And so if something happened to them before we passed away, it would go to their children, our grandchildren, when we have them. But if you had nobody, then the courts would decide who the closest living heirs were and give it to them. Brother, sister, whatever. Fiduciary here. This is our personal representative. I'm going to put my wife as primary. If I become incapacitated, she has legal rights of everything that I could do myself. And if something happened to my wife and our daughter Shaylee would be the backup. And so the next few questions are just going to be like this for both you and your spouse, if you have one. And so I'm just going to fill this out. You can read everything. We want primary and backup. Now, for my wife and I, who's going to be our trustee? We're each other's trustee. We're both in charge of this. You can revoke it at any time or change it, whatever. It is revocable. But we are going to put Shaylee as primary successor trustee. So she will be the trustee of our estate when we both pass. She'll have the responsibility of doling out, making sure everything goes as we wanted it to, and we can just have peace of mind that everything will go as we set it up after we pass. This is our financial power of attorney. By becoming incapacitated, Camille is primary. Oops, let's go back. We want to add Shaylee as backup. For my wife, we'll put myself as primary. And Shaylee as backup. Now here you would add their address. Okay, my medical power of attorney, I become incapacitated. Camille, primary. And you don't have to choose your oldest kid. You can choose whoever is most responsible or whoever you think would do the best job, or everything's up to you. For my wife, I'm primary. Okay, this is all the questions they asked us and our answers. And you can click on your spouse's name and make sure everything's correct. You can hit continue. Okay, if you want to check everything again, this is where you do it. And we're going to put review my document. It's going to take about 5 minutes. I'm going to put the video on pause. Okay, so it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. Here's our document. So first you get your joint revocable trust. It won't say draft on it once we complete it. One thing I do want to show you is right here. So this is a personal property memorandum. So if you want, let's say I wanted my car to go to Shaylee and my wife's car to go to Jane. The bedroom set goes to Shaylee. Everything that you have here, you put the recipient here. If you don't put it in, so it's not in the trust, it can go in the pour over will. Now the vehicles wouldn't be titled in the trust name because you don't want to have the liability of that vehicle be the trust and possibility that could get sued. You're not going to title your cars in the trust name, but you can put them here. If you don't put them here, it's going to pour over into the trust and it will be distributed equally to my kids or however you set it up. So that's where you put that in. I'm gonna put little stickers, sign and date. Everywhere you have to sign, date, or notarize, we'll get a sticker. And so you don't miss any spots. So just go through and look for the stickers. But I do suggest reading the whole thing because there's a lot of information here. Hit that X button. Here's your certification of trust. You will need this when you change the deed of your house to the trust name. You'll have to take this in, filled out, notarized everything for the county. And we'll show you how, and you're going to see how in the videos, how to change the deed of your house to the trust. Here's the pour over will, the financial power of attorney, the healthcare power of attorney, and the HIPAA release. We're going to finalize my documents. Click print from home, and then I will print it. It's about 100 pages. I'll put the stickers on, mail it to you. If you wanted to, you could pay $100 and have them shipped directly to you, but it won't have the stickers, and it's $100. So that's up to you. You can make your choice. I suggest letting me put the stickers on to make sure that you don't miss anywhere you're supposed to sign or date or get notarized. Once again, I'm going to pause the video. There's two more things I want to show you. And show you. This is the report, the trust, but in diagram form, not legalese. So maybe a little bit easier to read. The family tree, our beneficiaries, our estate planning, net worth summary, our balance sheet, our life insurance. So you can see all these are easier to read than just try to read through 50 pages of the legal trust, which you definitely need. But especially for your children or your beneficiaries, this is going to be easier for them. So I'm going to print this out and send this to you as well. The next thing is a book that my assistant and I wrote. She wrote it and I edited it. And it's important information my family needs to know when I'm gone book. This will go hand in hand with your trust. You'll fill out passwords, emergency contact, children, friends and family, insurance. And then the second half is memoirs, where you're going to put pictures and stories and notes you want to leave to your loved ones. I've ordered a bunch of these and we'll send them to you with your trust. It takes about a week and a half or so for the lawyers to look at your trust and approve it. And then it takes me a couple of days to sticker it and make sure it's all correct. And then I'll put it in the mail. So probably about 3 weeks, you'll get your trust. After you get your trust, what we're going to do is change the deed of your house to the trust name. That will be your only, like the video said, your only cost is maybe $50 at the county. Depending on the county, it could be a little bit more. But this will avoid your house going through probate and creating a nightmare for your family. So any questions at all, reach out to us. We're going to send you that onboarding with Vanilla, so you can create your account and then do this at your own time. But I really urge you to get it done expediently because it's something that you're definitely going to need to have before you pass away. Once I send you that thing from Vanilla, you have 4 days to create your account, not 4 days to complete it. If you wait more than 4 days to create your account, I will have to send you another link to to be able to create that account. And you can always reach out to us for questions. Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful day.